Join us and discover beautiful beaches, rugged landscapes, pretty towns, desolate mountain ranges that sweep down to stunning lakes, unique architecture, history and folklore, no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and definitely no shenanigans, just naked Ireland. Today we're going to take a wee gander around the continuous, unbroken walls of Derry, and you'll be surprised to see how well preserved these walls are, particularly given what they've been through. And we'll begin our journey around Derry's city's walls at Magazine Gate, right beside the Tower Museum. And we'll go inside the museum perhaps another day. Now this particular section of wall has a large number of cannon out of a collection of 22 that exist around the walls of the city. It's one of the largest collections of cannon whose precise origins are known. That's pretty impressive, I think. Also from this section of wall you get a good view of Derry's famous Guildhall, a building that was built in 1890, and it stands on the site of an earlier town hall which was destroyed in the Siege of Derry in 1689. And as we head up towards Ferry Quay Gate and beyond, we pass a number of the city's cultural landmarks, such as the Millennium Forum, and you might have noticed that artwork was by the famous sculptor Anthony Gormley. So for visitors interested in the arts of all sorts, Derry is quite a nice place to spend some time, and it's a city that's hugely proud of its own network of artists. Why shouldn't it be? When we arrive at this gun emplacement, we can see how close we are on the walls here to the vibrancy of the exterior of the city. Incidentally, if you've any mobility issues, then perhaps a walk around the walls isn't such a good idea. But further along the walls we've more cultural venues. The Playhouse Theatre, and a little further along, the Centre for Contemporary Art. And maybe take the opportunity now to give the video a like if it's been interesting or informative so far. And please don't forget to subscribe. That's a small gesture for you, but it means a lot to me. And we can see here as well the sharp contrast between the beautiful period buildings within the walls and the council housing that exists immediately outside the walls. Invariably, these working class areas tend to be either Catholic or, as here, Protestant enclaves. One of the reasons why traditionally this has been a city so divided. And in the distance now you can see St Columb's Cathedral. St Columb's is a Church of Ireland cathedral built by William Parrott way back in 1633. It was named after St Columba, who was an Irish monk who established a Christian settlement in this area. What's interesting is that the cathedral contains many artefacts that date back to the Siege of Derry, including the original keys of the city, which I'll talk about in a minute. The architecture within the walls is pretty impressive. The walls were built between 1613 and 1619 to protect English and Scottish planters who had moved to Ulster as part of the plantation established by James I. Previous settlements had been destroyed by the Irish chieftain Cahir O'Doherty, and you may remember I mentioned this guy in a recent film I made on Buncrana. The city was therefore officially renamed Londonderry in 1613 to reflect the London guilds who were invested here, and whether the city should be called Derry or Londonderry has been in contention ever since. The famous Siege of Derry was part of the conflict of the Williamite Wars in Ireland. On that occasion, 13 apprentices took those keys that I mentioned earlier to the city's gates and locked out the Earl of Antrim and his forces who were loyal to James II. The siege then began on the 18th of April 1689, after forces loyal to the king arrived ordering the city's surrender. The siege lasted until the 1st of August, almost 3.5 months. Now this gun emplacement and this part of the city's fortifications overlooks the infamous area called the Bogside, a Catholic and Republican area that was to become the centre of the world's press attention at the start of the Troubles. Now just before we get into that, bear in mind that if you really enjoy these videos, you can offer a donation by buying me a pint. You just follow the link in the second paragraph of the description beneath this video and that'll take you straight to the donation page. Or if you're viewing on a TV or computer screen, you can simply scan the QR code in the corner of your screen right now. And again, that'll take you straight to the page where you can buy me a pint. All contributions help with future productions and are so gratefully received. So in 1969, an annual commemoration of those apprentice boys took place here and caused a provocation, resulting in rioting breaking out, now known as the Battle of the Bogside. The riot lasted 3 whole days. The apprentice boys marched past the Catholic Bogside and the Royal Ulster Constabulary, the police, pushed back the Catholic protesters, followed by loyalists who attacked Catholic homes. And this is the Apprentice Boys' Hall where it all started. Judging by the fortifications that still exist here, old wounds certainly haven't fully healed. The march from here in 1969 and the resulting riot caused the British Army to be deployed in Northern Ireland after the Bogside had been barricaded off for its own protection by an organised group calling themselves the Derry Citizens Defence Association. This was considered by many to be the start of the Troubles. So I hope you've enjoyed this little walk around Derry's beautiful walls. It's a city that has so much to offer, as you've seen, and it has history both ancient and modern that is as interesting as it is tragic. All that remains for me to do is to thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next Naked Ireland.